Are you still living in a dirt hut? Hey, don't judge me. Wouldn't you like to live someplace just a little bit nicer? Ooh, I would actually. Well, then, do I have a deal for you? This fine Japanese estate can be yours for the low price of 64 diamond blocks. It'll take the rest of my life to get that many diamonds. Oh, okay then. Well, will you watch another tutorial video? Okay, I can do that. Hello, my name is Trydar, and today I'm going to be showing you the tutorial on how to build this fine Japanese estate in Minecraft. Let's get started. So the first thing I will do is give you a tour of the estate. Let's start over here at the entrance. It's got a nice wooden Japanese gateway here. And your estate is protected by fine quartz walls all the way around, so this is the only entrance. And once you go through it, you have a nice paved quartz courtyard with some carved quartz dragon statues over here. We also have a fine manicured lawn with shrubberies, nice little pathway going through them, and several covered Japanese pavilions over here with red paper lanterns hanging down from them. Over here on the side, we have some stairways with a few more gateways. They're the same on both sides, by the way. And around the main building on the sides here, we have a nice tranquil pool of water. And some nice gardens here for you to sit and relax in under some enchanted Asian trees that we have over here, which I'm going to be showing you, or attempting to show you how to build today. Let us also go in the main hallway over here. If we go up our stairs here, we have our Japanese hall. This is, of course, your main base building. And in here, through the fences, we have a nice, peaceful area in here, lit with some end rods and some more paper lanterns hanging from the ceiling over here. And of course, a fine, sturdy obsidian and basalt floor around here as well. And for decoration in here, I'm going to leave that up to you. You can subdivide off the room or change the pillars or the layout in here however you see fit. That is going to be up to you, but I'm going to be showing you, of course, how to build the base model of this structure so you can then go on to customize it for yourself. Now, let's go over here and take a look at the bill of materials you're going to need to construct this fine edifice. The first thing you're going to need is 2,424 grass blocks for all the lawns, 4,004 spruce trunks. These are primarily for the buildings. 514 wood bark blocks. Just pretend these are full bark blocks. These are mostly for your trees, by the way. You can pick this out of whichever tree type material you choose to use, but I used 4 types for this today. You need 1,339 spruce planks, 1,697 blocks of basalt, 1,068 black stone slabs for the roof. For the roof also, you need 1,930 blocks of dark prismarine, 104 blocks of regular prismarine for ornamental details, 89 blocks of quartz slabs, 4,933 blocks of quartz. However, I think this is going to be a bit of a high estimate for the quartz because I used a bit too much on the platform that I deleted later. So for primarily the pavements, you need 6,023 blocks of chiseled quartz and 723 blocks of quartz pillars, primarily to use for the platforms and the walls. The same for the quartz stairs, 1,931 of those, 15 blocks of glowstone for your paper lanterns, 296 stone buttons for ornamental details, 750 wooden trapdoors of the material of your choice, to be used again for details. 5,281 blocks of obsidian. These are for the roofs, but they're also for the floors. You can use blackstone if you don't want to use the obsidian, by the way. 1,054 spruce slabs. 1,130 spruce stairs. 120 red banners, or whichever color banner you would like to have for your paper lanterns. 170 lime stained glass panes and 228 green stained glass panes. These are for the trees. 549 spruce fences for details and 24 spruce fence gates for your doorways. And lastly, 82 end rods. All right, now that you have gathered all materials, let's take a look at the layout of the structure itself. So, for this, you need to clear out an exact square of 91 by 91 blocks. And you want to edge that out with your basalt blocks. This is where you're going to be using most of your basalt, by the way, for the foundations. And in between those, you want to fill it in with grass in these areas. I should also remark that this building has a center line, meaning that when you build something on this side of the red line, you want to mirror it exactly the same on the other side of the red line. So you can draw that in the middle, make sure your square is exactly the right dimensions, and this will help you lay everything out appropriately. Now, from your center line, to get the width of the quartz pathway, including the block of the center line, from there to over here is 9 blocks, which means without it, it would be, I think, about 8 blocks. And then you want to extend this all the way back from the edge over here. You want to go back 41 blocks. And once you do that, you then want to draw this band of basalt and have that go all the way across here. Now this that I have filled in with cobblestone is the platform that your main base is going to be resting on, but you can leave this hollow if you want to. Because if you don't, I think you're going to need something around 15,000 or so blocks of cobble to fill in all that platform. So depending on where you want to build this, you could terraform this part down if you wanted to have that be fully solid. And over here, to get this pathway over here, the measurement from the center pathway over here is going to be 28 blocks long. And I believe you can measure out from your basalt line back over here over to here to get this measurement is going to be 17 blocks is what that appears to be. But for these base measurements, I'm of course going to be providing the world download with the video of what I'm doing over here, showing all the phases. So you can come take a look at things for yourself if some parts of the video are unclear. So let me give you a good top-down view of the foundation here with all its measurements. You want to lay out your basalt and quartz and grass and everything according to this pattern here. All right, once you have done that, let us go on to the next phase over here. And I will remark at this point, the tutorial is of course formatted in slices of 2 blocks, meaning that after this first 1 block foundation, each additional building slice I'm going to show you going off in that direction is going to be 2 blocks taller than the previous slice. So now that that is clear, let's go over here and start at the entrance. To make the foundation for the gateway over here, you want to have a 4x4 thing of basalt, and then you want to put some wood over here and trapdoors all the way around that. Behind that, following your pathways over here, you want to start laying out your landscaping however you wish to do it. My design here is just a suggestion, but if you want to change this, of course, you are free to do so. Over here, we're also building the foundation for the dragon statues. We have some blocks in the middle here and stairs on either end with the block in the middle there. And those are set 3 blocks back from the front there. And they should set in the little dirt hollow we constructed over there in the last phase. On the ends of the pathways, you then want to come along and put down 4 blocks of basalt, and then on top of those with your wood with some trapdoors on top of those, 4 of those, and they are spaced 5 blocks apart. And they're going to be the same on both sides for the foundation of those. You also want to start building out your stairways with your quartz in the middle and on the ends here. And you can put the landings in here for the stairs. And this is one of those places where I used a little bit too much quartz in here, which will lower your total bill for the quartz, is why I said you won't need as much as I specified. Let's take a look at the walls on the outside here. Now these are repeating patterns, meaning that from here to here to here, this is a repeating pattern. So I'm going to show you one segment of these. They are 1 block thick, made of chiseled quartz down here on the bottoms. With every 5 block spaces, you then want to space out 2 blocks, then 5 blocks, then 2, 5 and 2, 5 and 2, so on and so forth. And on top of those, you want to have facing outwards these quartz stairs here with the quartz pillars arranged facing outwards as well on their sides, according to this pattern along here. And here's the back of the walls themselves. And over here, here are the walls when they are around the platform here as well. Let me give you a view of the corners around here because they're slightly different with the spacing over here to get them to be accurate. We have this little 3 block gap here, and then we continue our pattern of 2 and 5, 2 and 5, 2 and 5, so on and so forth, all the way around. It makes a corner on the back here. It continues around also, but in the middle here, the numbering system kind of broke down. So I made it have this pattern here with on the 3rd block here, I just put some quartz as well. And on the center, along your center line, this is what it will look like there. And of course, this side over here is the mirror inverse of the side that is over there. So let me go up here and give you a good top-down view of what the estate base looks like at this point here. All right, once you have that constructed, we will move up another 2 blocks to this phase over here. The majority of the ground level that we did, by the way, is complete down here with the shrubs and everything. It will be on the next phase over here, we will finish the walls, but let's take a look at the walls again. Because what we did with this level down here, you then want to have your stairs be vertical and put some more quartz pillars, some more chiseled quartz blocks there, and quartz stairs arranged like this pattern here. And in between them, you want to have stairs facing inwards and towards each other, and inwards and towards each other. And in the middle, this is where you're going to be using those quartz slabs. So that will give the pattern for that. And you want to go around the structure on the foundations of the walls you already made and continue this pattern pretty much uninterrupted all the way around. And here's what these stairs look like on the base here. These stairs over here, they go up 3 blocks, then they have a little 2-block landing. And then they go up another stair step. We have our interior walls around here. We have more of our curly quartz dragon statues over here. Just look at the pattern and reproduce it with the stairs. It's fairly simple to do. I'll give you a view of that over here, maybe easier to see. So once you have gotten those done, let's go around over here and take a look at the pavilions. All you have to do for these is just put 2 blocks of your spruce trunks going vertical like that. And I think for the main gateway over here, you are doing the same thing. Now that was quite easy to do. I think we can go ahead and move on to the next phase. Over here, going up 2 more blocks, we are finishing the lower exterior walls here. And all you really have to do for these is come along and put on a 1 block layer of quartz stairs done according to this pattern here, which will give them a nice decorative finale on the top there. For the dragon statues, we're adding a little bit more over here. This is the head and the mouth and the long whiskers. So just build it out according to this pattern here. You want to extend your stairs up another flight here, and then at the top here we are starting to build the base now of the main hallway around here, as well as the garden features over here as well. Before we get to that, let's take a look at the pavilions down here. Of course, the gateway, you're extending that up with more wood. And for the pavilion, you're extending that up over here as well, but you're also starting to put in the base of the paper lanterns at this height here. And once you have done that on both sides, we then want to come up here and do a little bit more landscaping, and you can use the measurements of all of this to properly site everything. So from the center of your stairs over here, which you've been building, you then want to count back 6 blocks and then start drawing in quartz stairs over here, leaving a 1 block gap between that and the walls over here. Leave a block gap of 3 back here, and in between this you want to leave a block gap of 2. And I believe the dimensions of the width of this from here to here, well, including this from here to here, is going to be 15 blocks is how big that distance there should be, and the general length of it is predetermined by the platform and the stairs already. And in between those, you want to put your pool of water. And in the middle of those, you want to have 2 blocks down here for your water feature, which this is a depth of 2 down here for the water, by the way, and it's all done with chiseled quartz. And I imagine if you will want to put some tropical fish in these pools as well once you finish them, but that's not outlined in the video. That's just an extra thing for you to do. Over here for your side gardens, you of course line the edges with basalt and then put grass in the middle. And for your main platform, you can use the dimensions that you've gotten off of this. You want to follow the same line and continue and have a 2 block gap on either side. And back here, I think we also have a 3 block gap here as well for the platform for the main hall of your base. So to get these, all you do for the measurements of this is you pretty much do the same dimensions that I showed you for the side gardens on both sides. So I suggest you build those first. And in the middle, then, it will be easily apparent to see the dimensions that it's going to be for the base of the platform for the main hall. And before we move on from that, let's go over here and take a look at the back central segment of this for the walls over here as well. So with that complete, let's move on 2 more blocks. This next couple of phases should be rather simple to do. As I said, our walls down here are done and most of the lower section. So we're just going to be focusing on the gateways and the pavilions down here in the lower section. So you extend that up another 2 blocks with wood over there. And up over here, you extend it up also, but on the top of this, you're now putting more trapdoors for the tops of the supportive poles that the pavilion rests on. You're putting in spruce fences up here to hold your paper lantern up. Let's see, we're finishing the dragon statues over here. Just some stairs put down on the top over there, like you see down there. And let's go over here. And I think I skipped talking about these little benches over here. These are sort of little park benches that you can sit on. They're just made with some stairs and slabs. Over here we have the lower part of the smaller gateways over here. They are done according to the same pattern that we did down there, by the way, as you can clearly see. Over here, you then want to start doing in the foundations for these trees and do in the edging out of leaf blocks for the landscaping up here. You also want to start putting in the water for the fountain. Actually, I think the water block sits, I think, about here, so we're not quite done building the fountain. But you just want to make that out of quartz like you see done here. Now, for these trees, I'm going to do my best to go slow and show you the patterns that I have used, but because they are an organic shape, they are nigh on impossible to explain exactly. So I'm going to be showing you the general form of how to make these, but I imagine your final trees will all be different from each other, and that's totally fine, because remember, these are organic shapes, so you don't have to have them exact, just kind of get them close. So here is going to be the base trunk for the front tree. Looks like it's sort of a 4x4 with a little 2 thing on the side here. And it's placed in the center, or the rough center of the little park. The other one over here is a little bit more complicated. We just have wood blocks stacked kind of randomly on top of each other. I'll go along here, sort of pan around it and let you see it. And do your best to replicate it. But like I said, if you don't get it quite right, it's totally fine. I will also remark that we're also finishing the tops of the walls out here with a little bit more quartz stairs than we did on the previous section over here. So you want to go around your walls on the top of your platform and finish those. And that will be the quartz elements should be largely done at this phase. So you will have used most of your quartz by this point. There are also these little decorations on here as well, which I totally forgot to cover on the last phase. We just have some stairs on top of each other, then vertical, then on top of each other again, arranged like this. And they're going to have a little a decoration on the top there, and that will finish those off as well. All right, so let's now take a look at the foundation of the hallway itself. So you have the pattern that you should have edged out with a bit of quartz here, some basalt, and filled it in with an obsidian floor, or whichever material you used. And from the edges here, you can sort of draw a diagonal here. And on the 4th block, you then want to place down your first block of basalt. And on top of that, you want to place down some wood, and then trapdoors on all 4 sides of those. And then you want to space out 5 blocks. Do it again. 5 blocks again. 5 blocks and again. And you can see exactly where this is headed, and you want to do this all the way around the structure on the front and on the back as well, the exact same design. And on the sides here, you then want to follow that same line in every 2 blocks. You then want to come along and put a block of basalt with your tree trunks and your trapdoors around them on 3 sides. It's going to be the wall design. as you can see, all the way around the structure, except here in the middle for the doorway. Just look at this and replicate it. And all the way around this side, you're continuing the same pattern as well. And behind those, you can see we've just laid out a straight line of basalt for the foundation. But on top of that, we are then putting another level up of obsidian, meaning that for this, there's probably too much obsidian. I should have accounted for this in my materials list. But directly underneath this, you don't need the obsidian. But if you're using blackstone, that stuff is fairly cheap, so it shouldn't matter too much. But as I've said, you want to raise everything up a little, and we have a little ledge here that I've outlined this with quartz. But equally, if you want to use blackstone over here as well, you can do that. And we have our little doorways here in the middle. And this, of course, to serve as a check on yourself, this follows the center line of the base. By the way, we'll be coming through this section here. And on the interiors, when you want to start using these stone buttons down here along the base with the trap doors and everything. And these serve to give us a little bit more detail on the interior around here. Now, the interior columns are, I think they are also spaced out 5 blocks from each other without exception. 5 blocks that way and that way. But from the trapdoors over here, I think it's only a spacing of 4 on either side along here. So let me go up around here and give you a good top-down view of the foundation of the main building. Take a good long look. Make sure you have constructed the patterns correctly. And once you have done that, we can then, I believe, move on to the next phase. And over here for our main gateway, it's still going up with the plain wood blocks around here. The pavilion, though, we are putting some wooden beams on top of the pillars. And you want to build them out as you see done here. One side is the same as all the other sides, by the way. And on top of those, you want to go along the interior here and put some more wood trunks facing in these directions. Fairly simple to do there. And on the outside also, more wood trunks facing outwards there. And to represent the little stabilizer stakes over here, we have these spruce slabs that are coming out like you see done here. And of course you want to do that pavilion over there the same as this one over here. Let's see. For this one, we're putting the block I mentioned to cap off the top of the banister over here. The gateway is over here going up 2 more blocks. Very simple to do. And we will now take a look again at the trees here. They're going up another 2 blocks. So I'll swing around here and give you a slow panning view of the trunks. They should be fairly easy to replicate at this stage. As you can see, I've also used bark blocks of 4 different types of wood on these as well to give them a little bit more texture. But if you want to use a single type of material on this, that is of course fine for you to do. Now, at the top of this, here is the finished fountain, as I've said. We have the block of water in there, and it comes out both sides over here. A very peaceful and simple fountain design over here for your little reflection pools. Let's go over here, take a look at the main hallway now. Let's start at the door. We have the fence gates being put in along here to serve as your doorway. But if you want to block this off with a standard door in wood, you can do that. Along the sides here for your pillars, you just want to come up on all of them, absolutely all of them, and put in vertical tree trunks, as you can see done here, and on the corners along here. And in the middle of those, you then want to put in your fences, as you see done around here. It's going to be a very simple phase of this structure to build. Just go around with the spruce trunks, extend them up, and put in the fences all the way around the front and the back to serve as your windows. And on the inside here, we're beginning to build up the interior pillars as well. Just put it on top of your basalt. And over here, also, we have the foundations that we're going to be putting in for the end rod holders right here. So I'll show you the locations that I've chosen for those. But if you want to have different locations for these, that's totally fine as well. So I'll give you a good top-down view here. And with that done, we will go over here to the next phase. So as you can see, we have the pillar over here still going straight up. I think in the next phase, we're getting ready to cap that off though. Over here, let's take a look at the pavilions. At this phase, they get really complicated. This is sort of the part of the Asian style tutorial that I've been dreading doing, because it's a very complicated stairs and slabs facing in different directions over here as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slowly pan around this, and you are going to need to look at it and replicate the block pattern, because we have stairs and slabs and full blocks going up in all sorts of directions over here. The good news is once you do one of these, all the other four sides are exactly the same. So let me show you this from the top down over here. And let me also show you from underneath here. I'm going to have some slabs along here with some more spruce, and this is the point where you roof this off and your paper lantern will hang down from this point here. Now let's go up here and take a look at these side archways. We're starting to put in some paper lanterns at this level after we've extended the pillars up a bit more. And let's go over here and take a look at the tree trunks. Again, they have sort of a random pattern over here. We also have some lower elements of end rods hanging down at these levels. Now for these, don't worry about the locations of these. I expect that you will want to hang these at different points. When we get higher up on the tree, you will see what I mean by that, so you can ignore these for the moment. And here's the tree trunk over here as well. And let's take a look at the main base over here. For this, it looks like we are mostly coming along here, another 2 blocks, extending up all the tree trunks and the spruce fences in between them as well, according to the pattern that you see done here. We're also adding in the paper lanterns on the outside of the building. And they're done in the middle at these positions over here. Let me give you a good look at the doorway. We just have a wooden beam that goes across it at this level. Let's take a look at the corners over here. On the outside and the inside, you can see the locations that I chose for the end rod holders, but you can choose your own locations for these as well. And it's a very simple phase for the main building here. You're just extending everything up yet again all the way around, so we can move on to the next phase over here. It's at this level that we are starting to cap off the pillars over here. We're doing that, of course, with some more trapdoors. Let's let's go over here and take a look at the pavilions. We're going up another 2 blocks, and things get just really, really ornately complicated over here. So again, the best thing I can do for this is to just give you a slow panning view around this. Very slow. And you should probably just pause the video and do your best to replicate the patterns that you see done on the screen here. Let's go down a little lower, take another look at it. We have some tree trunks coming out with buttons on the end of those and half slabs up here that are beginning to support our curvy Asian style roof. And the corners over here, let's give you a real close look at these, because these are the most difficult sections to do. And remember, if you need to, you can always download the world and come over here to this exact point and take a look at it yourself if what you're seeing in the video is not quite good enough to help you replicate it. And I believe for the roof, I added in some obsidian for the roof up here, and I also made it solid. But for much of this, I imagine that you can probably leave this back here hollow. So that will become apparent as you build it. The side gateways over here, we are capping off with a beam and some trapdoors. The hanging for your paper lanterns over here. A little bit more of the trees. You now see what the stained glass panes were for. They are going to be suspending your end rods from the leaves, which are going to be up there. But as I said, don't worry about the positions and heights of these. You can just do these and decorate them to your own taste. Because as I have remarked, and will remark again on the trees, that these are an organic shape. So they're rather haphazard in how they're laid out. And when you're making them, put a little bit of thought into them, but don't put too much. Otherwise, they may look a little off, because the effect of organic trees in Minecraft looks the best when you don't put too much thought into them. And by that, I mean, if you spam a block pattern this way and spam it a different way over here, it pretty much looks the same. So just roll with it. Okay, on the main base over here, we are capping off our pillars over here with some trapdoors all the way around, just like you did on the bottom. You're doing that again. And in between here, you are filling in the windows with the fences. And along here, over your gateways, you're doing that also. And without exception, you go around the entire structure and do the same. And the interior pillars, you extend those up as well. And put some trapdoors on the interior along here. Still fairly simple and repetitive to do on that. It's not going to get really bad until we start trying to describe this again for the main base building, which we're going to be doing in a couple of phases. So let's move on again over here. We have the main pillared gateway. We're now connecting it in the middle, as you see done here. This will be on your center line, by the way. So this will serve as a check on the height and everything. Along here, you want to put in some spruce stairs. As you see done here, upside down, then right side up, all the way around. For the side pavilions over here, we finished most of the detail work down below here on the last phase, and we started putting in the prismarine that's going to edge out the design for the curvy parts of the roofs, which go around like this. So I suggest you put in the prismarine first, according to this pattern here. And if you have a little bit of extra, you can do a thing in the middle here. And this is going to be your center line for this, by the way. And behind there, you then want to start putting in the roof materials. I have chosen to use obsidian because I play in creative. But if you're doing this in survival, you can choose another material. Possibly basalt or blackstone would look good up here with the blackstone slabs I've chosen. But as you can see, once you do one pattern on one side, it's the same on the other three sides. So let's come over here, take a look at the side pavilions here, or the side gateways, I mean. So here's the paper lanterns hanging down, and we have the middle here done like this. It's a 1 block thick thing. You can just take a look at it and replicate it. Fairly easy to do. And then we will take a look at the trees over here as well. As you can see, the glass rods and everything are designed to hold the end rods, and they're supported off of leaf blocks up here. So you can just arrange your leaf blocks in whichever pattern you think looks good. For trees, what I generally like to do is I will build the trunk first completely, and then I will build some branches like this. And then you kind of spam leaf blocks around them, but remember these look best when you leave little air gaps around here. You don't have to make them solid like that. And you can put leaf blocks below here like that if you want to as well. As I said, building trees is less of a tutorial and more of an art form, which is why I haven't really done a tutorial on them directly, because they're fairly impossible to describe. But as I've said, I just want to show them to you in these phases, so you will get the general idea of how these trees are made, and then you can arrange them yourself. Now let's go over here to the main structure. For this, on the next 2 blocks, we're putting in a series of cross beams across the front here. And they tie into your pillars, and on top of those, we're putting in some spruce stairs done according to this pattern here. On top of your columns, they face outwards like this, and then they're upside down in between them like this. And you generally want to leave a 2 block spacing between here, but these are 2 blocks themselves, so it's a 1 block every 2 block thing. And you want to repeat that pattern around on top of all the structures. As you have noticed, the design is very modular, meaning once you've done one section like this, you will see how to do all the other sections because they're pretty much the same. Let's go under here, give you a look back, well, I guess above here of what we're doing. It's pretty much the same thing with stairs, but they're done in a 1-2, a 1-2, and a 1-2 pattern, as you see done along here. And that covers the exterior. Let's talk about the interior. We're now starting to put in the paper lanterns and cap off the interior columns. And along here also, we're putting in more wooden ornamentation and detail in the middle here. We're putting in some upside down stairs on top of these trapdoors, and some right side upstairs in between the columns from the bottom here, which are just continuing to extend up a little ways. So you want to do that around the interior. Same pattern all the way around. And I believe that that will do it for that phase over there. But that's going to be all the time we have for today. Join me in part 2 when we will continue building the Japanese estate. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.